Good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you. It is my pleasure and an honor to welcome you for an occasion that marks 5 decades of an organization. It is no small feat, in fact, an immense one, for our founder, Mr. Inlaks Shivdasani's vision to stay strong and steady for 50 long years. This evening is the first of many events that we have planned over the year to commemorate and celebrate this vision. And what was that vision? To look for and support young individuals of exceptional talent, character, and motivation across a broad range of endeavors. To help bring that talent to fruition by providing high-quality academic, creative, and life-changing opportunities. He believed that by doing so, each personal achievement will benefit the individual and also the wider world. Over the last 50 years, the foundation has supported over 1,400 young Indians through scholarships, awards, fellowships, art residencies, internships, and grants across a wide range of subjects and disciplines overseas and in India. Our vibrant alumni community also helps us keep our vision alive. The foundation thrives on the steam of their efforts, from helping us conceptualize new opportunities to supporting us in our selection processes, to attending our SOS calls, to even helping us put this evening and show together without batting an eyelid and in a heartbeat. Everyone said yes. We are very deeply grateful. This evening marks the opening of a show featuring the work of a cross-section of our arts alumni. In the next hour, we will hear from our chairperson, Azad Shivdasani, who will join us live from London. Artistic director of the show, Priya Pal, will then share her curatorial vision for the show, followed by a panel discussion moderated by Gayatri Sinha, who will be in conversation with our alumni from across the years. I now request our trustee, Olympia Shivdasani, to say a few words and welcome our chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you for being here to celebrate with us today. Me and my family are so proud of the foundation and how it has grown over the last 50 years, which we hope you enjoy here today at Art Schiller, portrayed through the lens of the artists the foundation has supported. I would like to thank Art Schiller for being so generous with the beautiful space, and Priyanka, Priya and Amita for working so hard over the last year to put the exhibition together. As Priyanka mentioned, my grandfather was the one who started the foundation and had a vision of supporting Indian students in their higher education. Unfortunately, just a few short years after the inception, my grandfather passed away, while the foundation was still in its infancy. I'm so proud of my father, who has dedicated so much of himself over the last 50 years, alongside so many others, to ensure the success and continuation of the foundation. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, he is not unable to attend today in person, but he is able to join us via video to say a few words. Please welcome my father, Azad Shivdasani.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for supporting this exhibition with your presence. I know it's a long journey to come out to Okla. 50 years ago, my father created the Inlaks Shivdasani Foundation, and the first scholarships were awarded. He'd been to Cambridge, and he felt that that experience had contributed to his later success in life, and he wanted to share that with others. And the thinking at that time was that if you found gifted young Indian students and allowed them to attend the finest institutions in the world and interact with a great faculty and be immersed in a different culture for several years, that experience would broaden their horizon and they would thrive. And if you look at many of our alumni and their contribution, I think that original proposition has been proved correct. The foundation, despite my father's passing a few years after its creation, continued to grow and gain acceptance. And that was in large part due to really quite a dynamic board we had at that time. And it continued to grow. And all was well. We were gaining acceptance. And then something happened in 1982. And what it was that Rekha Rodvitia applied for a scholarship to do a 2 years master at the Royal College of Art. Now, it had to be Rekha. I mean, I think she's here tonight, and in some ways, she's the mother of it all, everything that we're witnessing tonight, and the whole stream of Inlaks's art and culture offering, as I said, had to be Rekha. So she applied for that, and we, up to then, prided ourselves very much on our unconditionality. Our mantra was, any person from any background can apply to any institution in the world to study any subject without there being any strings attached. You didn't have to give anything back. You didn't have to go back to India. The only imperative was that you should make the most of the opportunity and go on and give back to society through your personal life and your success, and be successful for yourself and for others, for their benefit and for yours. That was the only imperative. Make the most of the opportunity. But when Rekha applied in, I think, 1982, there were one or two trustees who quite understandably said, oh, but does art count as a subject? There was a tussle that ensued, but a good one, a healthy one. I mean, the foundation has continued to grow over the years because it encourages debate, it encourages internal debate. So there was this question about whether we should be doing art or not. And at this moment, I want to remember my brother-in-law, Niccolo, because he in particular pushed hard for Rekha to get the scholarship to go to the Royal College of Art. That's why I say maybe this is a moment for some measure of gratification, because obviously that decision at that time was pivotal. And here we are 50 years on, and we have an alumni of over 50 full scholarship fine artists. And if you take the broader total alumni, where you include fine arts awardees, residencies, overseas residencies, the total alumni is over 230. And then because of 1982, that opened it up. So we then began to look at music and theatre and dance. And so that whole stream of art and culture really began to take off. And today's exhibition obviously is only a fraction of the body of work created by the Inlaks art alumni over the years. But I'd like to feel that Inlaks has seeded several generations of artists that have had a deep impact on the Indian cultural landscape over the last 45 years. And we've stuck at it. Probably I'd say that art and culture represents 30% of our giving, because then we have all the other subjects, humanities, sciences, environment, conservation, social sciences, physics, chemistry, law, economics, you name it. But I'd say arts and culture is about 30%. And I think we've stuck at it because it resonates with our core values. Now, our core values are more internal. They are articulated, in fact, they are written down even, but it's more for internal consumption, and it informs, who we are, what we do, how we behave, what we look for, what we seek when we select candidates, what qualities. And I'd say that one of the qualities that we look for are candidates who can handle complexity, who are even okay with paradox, who, when the going gets tough, don't immediately fall back or retreat into doctrine, the certainty of doctrines, who are open to debate, and especially don't fall back into taking on board second-hand doctrines, which indiscriminately, without any kind of rigorous examination, just because other people are sort of pushing them. And so we want individuals who are okay with a certain amount of tension, creative tension. And what we've noticed over the years is that our artists and our writers and our journalists, the ones that we've supported, they're very open with that, and they realize that if you get too much into a cancel culture mentality, and you shut down opposition and you shut down debate and freedom of expression, you begin to stagnate, and it's really then a kind of a long dwindling or a long goodbye, because you're no longer growing, you're no longer vital. And they instinctively understand that. And I think that's one of the reasons why, because it resonates with that particular core value, we've stuck with it over the years and continue to encourage it. On that note, I'd like to once again thank everybody for having made the journey to come out here and be with us. So enjoyed the show, and we've got an interesting panel discussion as well. And I will hand over to Priya to say a few words. So thank you, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. When the Inlaks Shivdasani Foundation approached me to curate an exhibition as part of its 50-year celebration, my response, of course, was an immediate yes. That instinct came from a long association with the foundation, particularly from working on Insert 2014, an ambitious complex exhibition curated by Rux Media Collective, which I had the privilege to manage. That experience stayed with me not just because of that particular exhibition, but because it showed me something fundamental about how Inlaks thinks about art, with seriousness, trust, and a willingness to let things unfold. So I began by researching the artists Inlaks had supported over the decades. And the more I read, the more conversations I had, and really generous conversations with Rekha, with Sheila, with Manisha Parekh, with Indra Prameet, with a lot of younger artists, B.R. Sailesh, Amol Patil. I revisited, the more I realized that the foundation's impact on contemporary Indian art is far deeper and much richer than what it might appear at first glance. It doesn't sit neatly in timelines or milestones. It exists in trajectories, in turning points, in moments when artists were allowed to take a leap without knowing where they would land, a leap of faith. I made many lists. I changed my mind many times. I struggled with the question of representation. How do you speak about 4 decades plus of engagement without flattening it into a survey or a celebration? Eventually, it became clear to me that this exhibition could not be about coverage, but about process. The artists in the exhibition come from different generations and work across very different practices. Their relationships with Inlaks is also not the same, and neither are the outcomes. But what connects them is that each encountered the foundation at a moment of formation when something was still unresolved, still searching. What we see here is a long echo of those moments. Because of this, I consciously resisted the idea of a single argument or a tidy theme. Instead, I found myself thinking about how practices actually take shape. Through uncertainty, through dialogue, through crossings, through transitions between disciplines, histories, institutions, and lived experiences. And so the word intersections felt right to me, because none of these practices exist in isolation. They overlap with social realities, political moments, technological shifts, and with each other, and with you today when you visit the exhibition. And Sites of Becoming speaks to what I find most compelling about the works here, that it is not declarative or closed. It is still in motion. It is still becoming. This exhibition does not ask to be read in a linear way. It does not offer conclusions. Instead, it invites you to move slowly, to notice relationships, and perhaps to sit with moments with your own self. For me, that experience of not fully resolving meaning is where the thinking begins. This is also why this felt like the right way to mark 50 years of the Inlaks Shivdasani Foundation. Inlaks has never been about defining what art should look like or where it should arrive. Its strength has been in creating conditions, often quietly, for artists and thinkers to take risks at vulnerable moments. It has trusted process over polish and possibility over certainty. So the exhibition is not a retrospective of what the foundation has achieved. It is instead a reflection of how it has worked through faith in people, through sustained commitment, and through an understanding that becoming is ongoing. As its artistic director, I saw my role not as one of resolving differences or smoothing edges, but of holding space for practices to sit alongside one another without being forced into coherence. Some of these intersections are productive, some are unexpected, and some remain unresolved. I believe that is precisely where meaning resides. So as you walk through this exhibition, I hope you allow yourself time to linger, to draw connections, to notice things that you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. That act of navigation, of moving between positions, is central to what this exhibition is trying to offer. So give it time. And before I close, I would really like to thank all the artists for their generosity and rigor, to the Inlaks Shivdasani Foundation for 50 years of sustained belief in becoming, and to all of you for being here as part of this very moment.
Gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the opening panel, which marks the start of this milestone exhibition and the programming, which will run for 3 months. This panel brings together some of the artists supported by Inlaks in the early days, who will discuss their individual and collective practices using art as a lens for us to understand the worlds that we inhabit. Gayatri Sinha, our moderator this evening, needs no introduction to this audience. She is one of India's leading art critics, is a curator, and the founder-director of Critical Collective, an online arts and culture periodical. Gayatri has been part of the extended Inlaks family and has moderated the panel of the first Inlaks Fine Art Award event in Mumbai almost 15 years ago. We thank her for agreeing to moderate this stellar panel. Rekha Rudwitia is an artist, independent curator, writer, and teacher. She has established a strong, politically vigilant feminist practice that sanctioned her representation of the female figure in a non-voyeuristic manner. Her art has been widely exhibited nationally and internationally. But more importantly, as Azad mentioned, Rekha was the first Inlaks scholar to receive a scholarship to study at the Royal College of Art in 1982, marking the start of a wonderful collaboration with the RCA, which stands till today. Over the years, Rekha has guided the foundation on several art matters and has always championed the cause of increasing support for young emerging artists. In 1984, Sheila Gowda was awarded an Inlaks scholarship to study at the Royal College of Art as well, an experience that sharpened her commitment to process, material, and context. Her practice spans paintings and sculptural installations grounded in an intense engagement with everyday and industrial materials. Sheila has won numerous awards and has been presented in major curated exhibitions and biennales, both in India and abroad. In recent years, Sheila has been a part of the selection committee of the Inlaks Fine Art Awards and has given generously of her time to the process. Thank you. Indra Pramit Roy is an artist, educator, illustrator, designer, and writer with a career spanning over 3 decades. He went to the Royal College of Art in 1990. His practice moves between painting, illustration, writing, and public art, and he has received many accolades all through his career. In his role as faculty at the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, He has played an extraordinary part in guiding generations of young artists, many of whom have benefited from a variety of Inlaks art opportunities. Gigi Scaria received an Inlaks scholarship to attend the program at Citadel Art in Italy in 2002. This interdisciplinary residency program, started by Michelangelo Pistoletto, exposed him to philosophy, performance, and theory. Scaria's practice engages in urban transformation, migration, and the psychological experience of social space, working across installation, video, painting, and sculpture. He is exhibited widely in major exhibitions and biennales around the world. And finally, Shaina Anand is an artist, filmmaker, archivist, and co-founder of CAMP. She was an Inlaks scholar in film and media arts at Temple University, Philadelphia, in 1999. Her practice emerges from a located critique of documentary and forms of address, working with film, moving image, archives, and technology, and foregrounding questions of access, circulation, and the politics of seeing. Her work expands into methods that engage archives, surveillance, subject awareness, and collectivity. Since the past 3 years, Shaina and the team at CAMP, including Ashok, who's with us today, have hosted a residency for our fine art awardees where these young artists get the benefit of being mentored by the CAMP team. Unfortunately, Shaina was unable to join us this evening, but will join us from Australia through Zoom. Oh, there she is. Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today in a room full of people who have associations with Inlaks one way or the other. I'm grateful. I'm not a complete interloper. I've had the association of moderating a panel 15 years ago. More importantly, I'm very privileged, first of all, to have had a conversation with Mr. Shivdasani, with Amita, whom I've known and felt very warm and affectionate towards over the years, Dr. V. Chauhan and Vibha Chauhan, and their association with Inlaks, friends, artist friends who have come out of the Inlaks cohort, and the extremely talented and thoughtful practitioners who are here on the stage today. Why is there value in this association for people like us outside this august body? Perhaps because of the kinds of definitions that they allow, the understanding of the moment of the contemporary. And why is this called the age of anxiety? If we are to trace Inlaks to 1975, to the moment, we realize that anxiety has had a cascading effect on the human condition. So this term, which was first used in the 1940s, the age of anxiety, by W.H. Auden, and he dedicates an entire poem to it. You know, it's a contradiction for Auden. Nobody reads the poem, but everybody cites the age of anxiety. And then Leonard Bernstein, 2 years later, writes a massive symphony on anxiety. And this carries on into the present moment, where the decoding of anxiety, the resolution of anxiety has become a social concern with great depth.